One of the reasons I've always loved bodybuilding is because there's no make it until you make it here. Because up on that stage, it's a jungle. And at the end of the day, it's only the strong who survive. And let me tell you from firsthand experience, there ain't nothing fake about Yamamoto nutrition athlete Alessandro Savi right now. Earlier in the week, Savi released a handful of new photos from the world-famous Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym, where everyone in the building found out real quick what Alessandro Savi was all about. Savi is one of those guys who just lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes bodybuilding 24/7. And somewhere down the road, I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy give a few people trouble in the 212 division of the pro ranks of the IFBB. If you followed any of the NBA Finals stuff last week, then you probably heard a lot of talk from a few guys on the Golden Warriors about knowing how to play with confidence as a former champion. And right about now, I'd say that Courtney King has real reason to feel pretty damn confident. Recently, the reigning and defending Bikini Olympia champ was spotted crushing another one of her completely insane workouts as she gears up to make her first official title defense. Despite a rocky start to her season, King is heading into this year's contest with one very distinct advantage. She knows exactly what level she has to reach in order to walk away with the belt again. And if there's anything we've learned about Courtney King over the last few years, it's this. The moment you even think about counting her out, she'll dig in her heels and absolutely refuse to allow anyone to stop her. In the words of the legendary badass Billy Gunn, "Oh, you didn't know? Well then your ass better call somebody." Or at least that seems to be the tune they're singing down there in the Cambronero camp these days. Late Friday night, some video leaked of a 212 nightmare guest posing at the Bill Wilmore Classic, where he looked every bit the part of someone who's about to go beast mode on a whole room full of guys at the upcoming Chicago Pro. By all accounts, Cambronero had a magnificent offseason, and I guess now that we're all starting to see what some of the fuss is really all about. If this guy can get on a roll heading into the Olympia and hit Vegas with some momentum, I think he might be good enough to come in and challenge someone for one of those coveted top 5 spots. When you spend as many years in the sport as I have, you start to learn a few sobering truths. And I think the most important one might be the fact that at the end of the day, you really aren't competing against that guy or girl standing on stage opposite you, or the random person you've been stalking on social media. The truth is that you're never really competing against anyone other than yourself. And the 2016 NPC National Overall Champ, Shaun Vasquez, seems to get that message loud and clear. Over the last few weeks, a handful of new progress photos have shown the uber-talented Vasquez looking like he's making the most of his off-season as he prepares for next year's pro debut. As long as he can stay true to himself and not start chasing invisible ghosts who were never there to begin with, I think this kid has a real shot at a really, really bright future. This time next week, a whole group of athletes will be getting ready to hop on a plane and make their way up to the Great North to compete in the Arctic Pro. And apparently Walter Martin doesn't want to make the long trip back home empty-handed. Over the weekend, the rising 212 powerhouse released his last official set of progress photos before next weekend's contest, where he'll look to score the first win of his young career. Earlier this year, we saw a pretty good version of Martin get outpaced a bit at the Charlotte Europa Pro. But as long as he keeps his focus on conditioning and doesn't try to play the size game, I think he's got a great shot to push some of the guys in the lineup and compete for a top 6 finish.